I want to welcome to our phones once again. It's U.S. Senator Chris Coons. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jeff. Great to be on with you again.
We appreciate your time. A lot going on. I was able to watch your speech yesterday on the Senate floor talking about the much-needed changes to our United States Postal Service.
Well, that's right, Jeff. I gave a speech on the Senate floor just highlighting the thousands of Delawareans who've reached out to me in my office expressing concern, anger, or outrage about just how delayed Postal Service delivery has been in Delaware. I've heard this from other colleagues here in the Senate from across the country, and we're going to be pressing further for the Postmaster General to either fix the Postal Service delays or be replaced. The President doesn't choose the Postmaster General. That's a choice made by the Board of Governors of the Postal System. But President Biden has sent over 3 new nominees to the Postal Board of Governors, and I think the Senate should take them up and confirm them promptly so that Postmaster General DeJoy gets the message, either fix these problems or get sent packing.
I remember you posted on your Facebook page back in August, you were called by workers up in Wilmington. You stood outside after a rainy day in front of a sorting machine, just sitting outside of the Postal Center.
That's right. One of the things that was most upsetting last year was the Postmaster General, in a bid to restructure Postal Service, ordered folks in different facilities, bulk mail handling facilities around the country, to disassemble and to essentially throw out very large mail handling machines. That particular system, having been left out in the rain for several days, wasn't usable afterwards. When Congress came down hard on the Postmaster General at that point, he reversed himself, and in a number of major facilities around the country, systems were reassembled and put back online. But he has continued to do things to restructure the Postal Service that have resulted in persistent delays. The complaints I've gotten from Delawareans, Jeff, range from, I mailed a Christmas card to my sister and she got it not 2 days later, but 2 months later, to veterans who can't get their medication, to folks who are having trouble paying their bills, to local newspapers like the Delmarva Farmer or the Cape Gazette, that aren't being received by folks who have subscriptions weeks and weeks after they were mailed. All of this in combination is making for a dramatic drop in confidence in the postal system, which, by the way, year after year has been one of the best performing, most positive federally related services in our country. So these 3 new nominees to the Postal Board of Governors, all of whom have significant experience. One of them is a retired Deputy Postmaster General. One of them General Counsel to the Postal Workers Union. These are folks who can help get the postal system back on track and get delivery standards back up again.
Definitely a problem. As you know, I own a small retail store, and we had people charging back our online orders because they didn't receive them, and then finally a month later they're getting them. Other people canceling their orders, a big problem, not just here in Delaware but across the country.
Yep, from Snyder's Candy in Rehoboth to stores in the Midwest, we've heard complaints on the Senate floor, and this is going to lead to bipartisan action to address the problems with the postal system. That's
great. Let's hope sooner than later, but it's great to see that you and some of your fellow senators are working hard to try to push this, to get this ahead and working. And we have some great men and women in the first state that work for the post office, not at all at fault or to blame.
That's right. These are management decisions. One of the things that is different about the postal system than any other federally related service is that it's required by law to pre-fund all of the retirement obligations of the postal employees. If they were not required to do that, they would be in much better financial shape going forward and able to meet their budgetary challenges. So that's something that's been debated here in the Senate for years. The CARES Act, which we passed unanimously last year, provided support to the postal system. It should have been more than enough to keep delivery standards up during this year-long pandemic when millions of Americans, folks all up and down the state of Delaware, have been relying on their postal system to keep them connected, to keep them engaged, and to deliver vitally needed medications and mailings and periodicals to their homes.
Social media gets a lot of complaints. I'm sure you do too about the number of vaccinations that are available or not available here in Delaware. Can anything be done about that?
Well, President Biden has already ramped up vaccine production in partnership with some of the key vaccine manufacturers. And I think the good news from this week was that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been approved as safe and effective. 8,000 doses of this new J&J vaccine are going to be received in Delaware this week. And state officials have been referring to its one-dose vaccine approach as a game changer, because instead of getting one vaccine and then having to come back weeks later to get a second dose, you just get one shot one time. Delaware's already administered over 200,000 doses of vaccine to our 900,000 residents. About 7% of Delawareans have been fully vaccinated. But I am hearing concerns, complaints from folks about getting an appointment, getting access. So for anyone who's listening, please call my office in Dover at 736-5601 or my office in Wilmington at 573-6345. We've got folks happy to help figure out how to get connected to vaccination in Delaware. If you're eligible, if it's your period, if you want to just email directly, the state's vaccine center is at, literally the email is vaccine@delaware.gov. There is broader and broader availability, and I think as federal and state efforts continue to increase, it'll become more available. We are currently in what's called Phase 1B, so it's focused on people over 65, people with pre-existing conditions, frontline workers. But I am confident that Governor Carney and our Department of Public Health are doing everything they can. I keep pressing the Biden administration and their public health leadership. We provided $20 billion for vaccine development and distribution in the bill that was just passed in December. I recognize there are folks who are having trouble getting through on the website or scheduling, so please call my office and let us get to work for you.
That's great. One last topic I'd like to discuss with you is the fact of J-1 visa students. Last year, instead of the 1,000, 1,500 that were able to come to southern Delaware, about a dozen were able to get here. Any ideas on this summer? And J-1 visa, those students seem to really be relied on by many of our local businesses in order to keep their businesses operational.
I know, Jeff, over many years I've had the chance to chat with college students from overseas who come through the J-1 visa program and get a chance to work in small businesses in our beach communities, to see our beautiful country and get to know the United States and our people better, all while providing important services to our economy. It's a great program, but I think we need to see whether and how it can be safely implemented at this stage of the pandemic. I appreciate your reminder on the J-1 program, and I'll make a specific push and outreach to DHS and DOJ to make sure I understand what their plans are for it at this point, because I know you have to be doing the outreach now to have a workforce available for the summer. I'm really hopeful that we're going to be able to see some reopenings this summer, and that by September, life will really begin to get back to normal for our state.
Well, thank you for all the great work that you do and your fellow senators and everyone there in Congress. We really appreciate it. Keep it up. And anything you'd like to add in closing this morning?
Just how grateful I am for the opportunity to serve, to work across the aisle and to try and deliver solutions for the American people. This week, Jeff, we are going to pass President Biden's American Rescue Plan, and it'll do a lot of different things. It'll extend unemployment. It'll provide support for families that are struggling through an expanded child tax credit and $1,400 checks to tens of millions of Americans. It'll also provide more support for small businesses, for the safe reopening of schools, for vaccine distribution. It is a big and bold package, but it's what President Biden ran on, which was addressing this pandemic and helping all of us get out of this mess that we're in as quickly as we can.
Thank you very much, U.S. Senator Chris Coons. Stay safe. We look forward to chatting with you again in the near future.
Thank you, Jeff.